think you just gotta let it be for now.
All right, this is week 13 of the committee. We have 4, so we're gonna get started. Ron or Yui might join. Number 1, I think Iowa State stays number 1. What do you guys think?
Yep. Haven't done anything to lose it.
I mean, compare the resume, dude. Do your due diligence. Come on.
I mean, that's what last week was for, right? When we put them.
A lot of wins here. A lot of wins here. Okay, some big wins. Some big wins. Who else would we say?
We'd look at Tennessee, obviously.
Tennessee, some wins here, but not as big.
And that's it. Those are the only 2 candidates in my eyes.
Yeah, it's 1 and 2 for sure. All right, Iowa State.
All right, fair enough. You're not gonna change my mind.
Iowa State, Tennessee. All right. Top 10, nobody lost. So, so last week we had Iowa State, Tennessee, Ohio State, Baylor, Florida, Buffalo, Cal, ECU, Clemson, Boston College. Anybody have anything that they might want to change from this week's? Cal was on a bye.
In my opinion, Buffalo needs to drop some.
So Boston College 9-1. They smoked FSU. They're at number 10, but their only loss, CMU did lose this week. Clemson, not that impressive of a win over Louisville. They are facing Boston College this week, though, so I don't think it matters who's 9, who's 10.
Who did Clemson lose to? Pitt?
Let's see. No, Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
So, yeah. All right, let's check out the other people. All right, here's another top 10 team. Okay.
And that Louisiana loss looks worse and worse every week.
Yeah, Louisiana did lose this week. Here is, we just saw Iowa State, Baylor, 56-7 over Kansas. They got right back to where they should be. And then Ohio State drummed Penn State at Beaver Stadium, so I don't think you switch Ohio State and Baylor. Let's see. And then lastly, like, the only top 10 team that didn't do that great is Buffalo. But then again, only a 16-point win over, but they're winless. And then finally, we saw Florida beat Scar pretty handedly. So I'm cool with the same top 10, but like Dogwater says, if you're going to drop somebody, I would say only Buffalo, but Cal is at 7, didn't even play this week, and then whatever you guys' opinions are on ECU.
I honestly think just keep it the same 10. I don't think there's any reason to change anything.
Yeah, I would say consider Baylor and Ohio State swapping, but if that's really the extent of it, and it's not something I'm really willing to stand on a soapbox for.
Yeah. The other one I would say is flip Boston College and Clemson, just because of
conference rankings.
Well, that, and also just rewarding Boston College from killing Florida State, where Clemson played Louisville to it was like 2-3 score game. But it's kind of grasping at straws, so I'm fine with the same top 10.
Yeah.
All right. Ohio State, Baylor, Florida, Buffalo, Cal, ECU, Clemson, BC. At some point, those 2 losses from Florida might come into play, but not yet.
Yeah.
All right. So now at 11 here, just going through the next teams we had ranked. We had Central Michigan, Houston, Illinois, Northwestern, Stanford. 3 of those teams lost. So it's really up for grabs how you guys want to rank these. So first off, let's go through Houston. Notre Dame win. Don't pay attention to the number 23. They haven't been ranked all year. The loss to South Carolina is not looking as good, but then they just drum everybody else. One close game here, but then again, so like Texas.
Not a very strong schedule.
Yeah, no, for sure not.
Yeah, it's like last year, but they're still just dominating that schedule.
But I mean, Notre Dame's a good win. They're a high overall team, 7 wins. They're gonna probably finish like 9-3.
Yeah, Texas State's a solid pickup. SMU next week will be telling.
Yeah. So Houston's an option here at 11. Next up would be Illinois, number 12. Or they were number 13 last week. They have the win over Arizona. Tough loss to Washington. The loss to Ohio State, obviously, and then win over Minnesota and Iowa. But this close win over Wisconsin kind of troubles me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think you go Houston 11 still, and Illinois 12.
Okay. Do you guys think, before we just go that, do you guys think the next tier we had was Cincy, Colorado, Virginia? Do you think any of those teams have done enough to jump?
I'd take a look at Cincy for sure.
So Cincy had a tough game, 16-10 to Temple.
Oh man, that ain't pretty either.
No. And then, I mean, I was impressed by Virginia on game day. But I don't think that they jump Illinois or Houston. So yeah, I would say 11-12.
3 straight 1-score wins for them.
Yeah. Oh, 2 straight 1-point wins.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, as long as you win them.
At the end of the day, that's what I care about the most.
They've had, you said 3 straight, it's 4 straight 1 point.
Oh shit, yeah. I stopped counting.
Okay, so I have Houston, Illinois, and then now it's kind of like up for grabs. So the next teams that we had ranked,
I'd say Cincy next.
Was Cincy, Colorado, Virginia, ASU, Arkansas, Georgia, and that's it. The rest lost. How far back? I mean, I think it's probably, I wouldn't say super substantial, but I don't think we rank any of the losers quite yet. So last week we were all kind of in agreement on this tier, but they're very close between Cincy, Colorado, and Virginia. Has your guys' order changed at all? Colorado has a good record, but bad.
I think Virginia.
Those are good losses.
Is probably the most impressive. Yeah, there are good losses there, actually, yeah. But I think Virginia probably has the most impressive. It has been the most impressive team out of them, honestly. I mean, I might be alone in that, but I don't know what they're.
I would be fine going Virginia, Colorado, Cincy, just flipping the 3 we had based on this week. You know, 16-10 over Rutgers or over Temple is not impressive at all. So
also, Arkansas beating TCU is pretty significant, but as well.
Yeah.
Another 3 loss, but
they do have the win over CU. But a bad loss to West Virginia and obviously the game day loss. I would still put them in a tier, like the tier under these 3.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Colorado's my favorite out of these.
Alright, so let's look at Colorado. So it's between Colorado and Baylor right now.
Yeah, and they've got the,
Baylor, sorry, Virginia.
Yeah.
So, lost to Arkansas, lost to Baylor. Basically lost to the 2 best team they played. And then they only have 1 other win over a team over 500, which is Indiana. So, take that with a grain of salt. And
That's
then
telling.
Virginia here. Their out-of-conference schedule is complete ass. I mean, LA Tech, Temple, UAB. They did lose to Temple, though, so
Yeah, dude, you
you
have to
common
go
opponent?
Colorado. You have to.
Okay, so...
This is an awful schedule.
Alright, so Cincy over Virginia, then.
Yeah.
The
This
Syracuse
schedule's
loss
abysmal.
was Cane Bay. Yeah, so their best win is Pitt, UNC, or Georgia Tech. So yeah, so no wins over.
500.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm fine going to Colorado, Cincy, then Virginia.
How do we feel about that?
I'm good with that.
All right.
Common opponent makes sense.
Yeah.
Colorado, Cincy, they all move up a bit, and then Virginia at 15. So that's where we are right now.
Let's still move them up at all.
Yeah, that moved them all up like 3 spots at least. Okay, so do we want to rank? And so on the teams that lost, how many do you think we want to rank? Central Michigan, Northwestern, Stanford. I think Stanford you probably rank for sure. Michigan State's down to 4 losses. I don't like that one. South Carolina down to 4. All right, I guess we kind of have to abandon our old rankings now and just kind of go off of all of the conferences. So I'm gonna just make a list of teams that are that we think are worthy per division, and then we'll kind of just go from there. So Syracuse probably worthy of a look, right?
Yep.
I don't think anyone outside Virginia probably gets a rank right now. Okay. Into the American, outside Cincy, which we already ranked, in East Carolina, no. Alright, Arkansas is going to be in the next tier. Write them down. Bottom of that division's terrible. Once again, I don't see anybody that's like... Maybe TCU sneaks in because of the close loss, but I don't know.
I think there's only going to be like 1 or 2 4 loss, and Michigan State's probably at the top of that one.
Yeah, a lot of 4-loss teams there. Northwestern, probably gonna write down them. They're gonna drop.
We haven't ranked Illinois, right?
Illinois is at 12.
You also have Minnesota there.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down Minnesota because they just won the head-to-head with a backup quarterback. It's pretty impressive. Louisiana, you idiots. Yeet them from the top 25. Texas State, probably not. Independence, I think we got to look at Notre Dame. Mac. Buffalo, obviously. Ball State, probably not. Toledo, Central Michigan, we'll look at those two.
Yeah.
I don't want to rank a 2-loss Toledo. That's gross. Mountain West. I don't see it. Like, Fresno State was threatening the top 25 last week, and then they lose, right? So I'll write down SDSU, I guess.
I feel like SDSU had some like gnarly losses that kept us from them.
Yeah. Washington State should get a shout. We haven't really talked about them at all this year, so might as well look at them. Arizona State, we still have to rank. This division's going to be ridiculous. Stanford, we still need to look at. And AZ, along with Minnesota, probably in that same tier.
Can Arizona still win this division?
They can.
Yeah,
it's
head to
unfair. And if Stanford loses to California.
Stanford, did they beat you? Yeah, they did. Yeah, so if they lose to Cal and you beat ASU, that's wild. Okay. SEC, probably look at Georgia. I'll write down Alabama, though. They had a win over a top 25. I I don't want to rank
No.
LSU.
No.
Yeah, screw that division.
No, not with
And then
5
write down.
losses.
I'll write down JSAL, but not an impressive win at all. And then on the other side, I'm write down Arkansas State because I like Chet Doge. All right, so right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 spots, and I have written down 12 teams before I even count the 4 lost teams. So, okay. Who gives off the best vibes for you guys at this point? For me, it's Arkansas.
Yeah, me too.
So let's take a look just to make sure.
I like Arkansas. I guess we're pretty far down here in the rankings.
So this is for 16. So the win over CU. That loss to West Virginia is so bad though. Can't really. They led the whole game, kind of like the exact same thing that happened in this game day. South Carolina just stole it, but also a good win over TCU.
Lit.
Other team, let's look at Northwestern.
Arkansas
Lost
also has their
Michigan State.
backup quarterback starting, right? Is that just this
They
week?
did just for that week. He should be
Okay.
back unless he picks up like a, a questionable tag or something. So Northwestern, they have the head-to-head over Minnesota, so can't rank them under Minnesota. Okay. I'm just trying to look. Let's just see what's going on with Notre Dame. The loss to Houston, a loss to fucking Charlotte. God. And then a loss to number 1. 4 straight win, though. And really, it's, if they pick up the Stanford win, then they'll get some respect. And I guess we'll... So, okay, so I guess... For me, it probably comes down to either Arkansas or Arizona State. Just because Arizona State, these losses are pretty much due to their quarterback's injury.
And we consider this.
Yeah. We did
I
have
like-
Arizona State over them last week.
Yeah, I like Arizona State probably the most out of the 3 lost teams.
Yeah. All right, let's look at Stanford just to be sure, though. And I think at this point, yeah, you have to consider the head-to-head, despite the 1 extra loss. So, okay, do you guys want to go Arizona State, Arkansas? That's what I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just can't get over the fact that I watched Arkansas starting quarterback throw for like 120 yards on game day. Like, that's not enough.
What can I say? Your pass defense was amazing.
It ain't, though.
Yeah, no, it isn't. All right, so now we're at 18. So let me cross these guys out. All right, teams we're looking at. The best record, Stanford. They're 2 loss. You also got Syracuse, Northwestern, Georgia, Notre Dame. Let's look while we're here. Washington State, see if they're even worthy of a rank. Lost Stanford, so you have to rank them below them. Also lost to Arizona. Lost to Cal. And some okay G5 wins.
Yeah, Stanford, they've done really well in a lot of those games. They've been mostly pretty close. I mean, look at their points for and points allowed. There's only 1 point of difference. But
yeah, they lost by 20 and people were already kind of low on them. But so they were ranked 15 last week. Is this 20-point loss a big enough of a drop? I don't know. Where do you guys want to go for your? Do you want to see Central Michigan? They still have 2 of the best wins in the country. I mean, technically, if you want to be technical, they were giving them by ranking Ohio State 3. We're giving them the best win in the country.
Yeah, but it was a win with all kicks.
You're good with Central Michigan now?
I don't know. Just get blown out by Toledo that bad.
Yeah. So then they both lost to Buffalo. So let's see. What's Toledo's other loss? Western Michigan. You might have to honor head-to-head. No, you can't though with the Central Michigan wins. Those are too good. All right. Well, that's later on though. I think it's kind of a shit fest down here.
Yeah, at this point in the season, everybody's got their blemishes and bruises.
Yeah, Syracuse 3 points to Pitt, who's kind of fallen off a cliff, and then back-to-back losses to good teams. I might put Syracuse. All right, yeah. What do you guys think? I'm gonna say Syracuse, Stanford, and then Northwestern.
Yeah, that order seems right to me. Northwestern has not been able to step up when they really needed to so far this season.
I don't know. I kind of like Stanford over Syracuse.
So yeah, so the one extra loss, it's just how do you view these losses? Like this one's not bad to Clemson, but they kind of got their shit stomped by BC. And then we'll see Stanford here. Alright, so they have the win over Pitt. So common opponent,
yeah.
We favored that last time. Favorite here?
Works for me.
I think so.
Stanford. Syracuse. Alright, and then Northwestern.
Yeah, I'd put Northwestern there.
Okay, just before we put Northwestern, let's just check Georgia just to tickle your guys' feathers here. The Tennessee loss, the Bama loss. So, okay, they both lost by 7 to Bama. And then Florida and Tennessee are better losses. Then Michigan State is the worst loss out of the lump. So, I guess, do we put Georgia over them?
Yeah. Georgia stumbled. Seems like they've regained their form.
Yeah, they did get stumped by Ohio State.
Alright, UGA, Northwestern. Okay, so obviously we can always make a change, but we have 4 spots remaining now. And here are the teams in contention. So, I have the 2 MAC teams, Toledo, Central Michigan, Notre Dame, San Diego State, Wazoo, Georgia Southern, Arkansas State, and then Alabama, AZ, and Minnesota.
I feel like we can do like Toledo CMU here. Just bang bang.
I still think, despite the losing head-to-head, I think you have to, like, if we're ranking committee rankings based on the playoff, I think you have to put Central Michigan ahead, because both can't get the auto bid anymore. So, like, you'd be ranking them based off resumes for an at-large. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that's just my thought process. Like, the only reason to rank a 2-loss G5 team at this point is if they, like, have any sort of a argument for an at-large team.
CMU's defense is awesome, but that head-to-head says a lot.
I mean, I don't think the only reason is that. Like, I feel like if they're just one of the top 25 teams, you should rank. Like, I think Toledo should be ranked.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for me, when considering who is over who, when you're like comparing them,
I think 41-13 establishes who's over who.
I also feel pretty. I mean, like obviously, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Is like 41-13 so dominant though. That's so tough. It's so tough because Central Michigan has the better wins.
They
like,
do
by a landslide.
by a lot. Yeah.
but then again, now
Like
Central
resume
Michigan
wise,
Central Michigan's locked out of their CCG.
okay, hear me out. This is gonna sound crazy. I do think Toledo goes here, and I think it's only because of the fact that the head-to-head is so. If the head-to-head were closer, I would actually say to put Central Michigan here. But because the head-to-head is like a 28, 27 point difference or something like that, it's like it's too significant of a game.
Yeah. It's very decisive.
Yeah, I mean, head-to-head's the biggest deciding point in any ranking system, and then you factor in the fact that it's just a blowout, basically.
All right, so we go. Do you guys just want to go back to back Toledo, then CMU?
Yeah. I don't think they're far apart at all.
All right, so 20. So if we do that, we have 2 spots left, and the choices are not amazing. You got San Diego State, Washington State, Notre Dame, Georgia Southern, Arkansas State, and then the 3 4-loss teams in Alabama, Arizona, Minnesota. The best record is Georgia Southern. Obviously the overtime loss, and then 2 scores to FIU.
FIU seems better than we thought now.
Yeah, but also
Yeah,
like just looking at their last
Terrible
month.
schedule, though.
If
Yeah.
you look at the last month, you have a loss, a 10-point win in a rivalry game against a real shitter, 7-point OT, 1-point game.
Yeah, they're not moving in the right direction. But they're also only a 2-loss team.
Lost to Toledo, so that's good. They're ranking. They both lost to FIU, but Arkansas State lost by less.
You
and
don't
then
rank Arkansas State ahead of Georgia Southern in this, in my opinion. I think there's no way.
that you put Arkansas State over them.
Yes, I think Georgia Southern 100% deserves a spot more than Arkansas State.
Well, I don't even know if Georgia Southern deserves a spot in the top 25, but okay, so
that's fair, but
we
I'm
can
saying they
say
deserve it more.
Southern over Arkansas State. Okay, so let me cross.
So
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
they killed Arkansas State in the matchup by like 20 points.
Oh, I didn't even see they played head-to-head. Okay. San Diego State. Okay, losses to number 1 and 2, and a 3-point loss to New Mexico. I mean,
Also, just another one of those just really shitty schedules.
Yeah, 1 win over a winning team.
yeah, I don't know if you rank that. Okay. Wazoo, we saw them, but let's get a refresher.
The only reason I feel like SDSU almost deserves it is because, like, literally their best 2 losses, like, I mean, they have the best 2 losses in the country, but, like, who else? Like, if you put 3 through 25 against either of those 2 teams, like, they're probably going to lose. And so I feel like if you're saying, like, oh, they're 3 loss, so we can't rank them, like, if they don't play those 2 games, they're 9-1.
Well, yeah, but also, like, they got blown out. Like, remember UNLV at least played Tennessee kind of close, right?
I mean, fair, true.
Wazoo,
You get what I'm saying.
3 loss against their best teams, yeah. There's not really great options so far. Notre Dame, we saw, kind of shit. These 4-loss teams might get in. I mean, if you care about recency bias, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Only a 10-point loss to number 1. And then, all right, let's just check on the 4-loss teams. So probably Minnesota would be first in line. They had a really bad 3-week stretch. Really don't like this that much. Who's the other one? We got Pac-12 and SEC. All right, Alabama.
I think they arguably have the strongest schedule of 4 losses.
Yeah, but that loss to UK.
Yeah, but Kentucky was also strong at the beginning of the year. They were also like 4-0 and ranked.
Yeah,
and they did have a
4-6.
few injuries, if I'm wrong. If I'm not wrong.
All right, then.
And then Bama lost to Arkansas.
Finally, Dogwater lost to Illinois. Obviously, 2 unfortunate losses that could have been wins. He does have a win over Cincy. Close loss to Stanford. I mean, this loss is terrible, but none of these other teams we're looking at have like that one big win.
Arizona also has a lot of wins over winning teams here.
Yeah, okay, so you have to put Arizona over Washington State. They have the head-to-head.
That's no question.
Okay, so eliminating them that way. All right.
I kind of disagree, but I'll run with it.
I mean, in my opinion, I personally would, any order of Arizona, Minnesota, and Georgia Southern out of these remaining teams for me. Maybe Alabama over Minnesota. Yes, no, maybe.
I mean, I can't talk about Arizona, but I do like Alabama over Minnesota, to be honest, because I think Alabama's schedule looked a lot stronger.
I can't talk about Alabama because I could only think of them with one way.
I mean, I don't like Alabama, but
it's not that I don't like them.
The win over Georgia and the win over Northwestern are just like big wins, and the good thing about Alabama is if they lose that game to Florida, then I mean they drop right back out. So
yeah, I don't think there's anything that anyone else really has that compares to the win over Georgia.
I mean, your win over Cincy.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, and just because Arizona is literally like 2 plays from being a 2-loss team, I'm fine going Alabama, but I would probably put Arizona over them at 24.
I'm fine putting Arizona at 24, Alabama at 25. I think Georgia Southern deserves 23, if I'm being honest.
Over CMU?
Whoa, wait, no. Oh, sorry, I thought we were filling up the last 3 spots, my bad.
No, we only got 2 left. Alright, so let me just pencil them in, and then let's go through the full ranking, and then if you guys want to relook at something. So 1, ISU, 2, Tennessee, 3, Ohio State, 4, Baylor, 5, Florida, 6, Buffalo, 7, Cal, 8, ECU, 9, Clemson, 10, BC, 11, Houston, 12, Illinois, 13, Colorado, 14, Cincy, 15, Virginia, 16, ASU, 17, Arkansas, 18, Stanford, 19, Syracuse, 20, Georgia, 21, Northwestern, 22, Toledo, 23, CMU, 24, Arizona, 25, Alabama.
Yeah, I think that sounds fine.
Yeah, fine. Alright, that concludes week, 12? Alrighty, I'm gonna get these posted, then do recruits. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you next week.
Ooh.